So tell us your name and what you've been diagnosed.
I'm Gina. I'm 21 and I have depression, general anxiety, and social anxiety.
Take us through from the beginning, your start and your journey.
Okay. Ever since elementary school, I have always had like this dread of being late, or to the point where I would wake up 2 hours before I had to leave my house for school so I could double check my backpack like 10 times, make sure I have everything, make sure nothing's missing. And then throughout elementary school, it started getting like bad with just like constantly worrying and like always feeling like, oh, this is wrong. Or even sometimes it was like I was just anxious and I had no idea why. It was just this overwhelming, like something's wrong, but my brain won't tell me what it is. So it's just this constant like, freak out. In middle school, it got worse, just because it got more intense with like grades and stuff. And I'm a perfectionist, so needing to get straight A's, which would lead to more anxiety about if I wasn't doing well. I had my first panic attack in 7th grade when my English teacher was like, we're gonna have a pop quiz. And I started, like, I couldn't see, I was hyperventilating. I did not do well because I couldn't focus. And then I had another panic attack because I didn't do good. So that was when that started. And then in high school, it got even worse, and it would take me like 4 hours to do an assignment that everyone finished in class. So then that made me feel, well, there's something wrong with me because I have done nothing and they're already done. And then probably my junior year of high school, I would get like super like low and just, I was like, oh, it's just a rut, like I'll be fine. Like I would just like work through it myself. And then in college, my depression started getting worse. And I got into like another rut. I'm like, okay, it's just another rut, like I'll get through it. And then when I wasn't getting better after the 3rd week, I was like, okay, something's wrong. So I talked to my mom and I was like, I have ruts all the time and I get through them. This one I'm not. I'm scared. Because depression runs in my family. My grandpa was hospitalized for it. My mom has it, my brother has it. And so, but they never really like talked about it. They kind of just kept it to themselves. So there wasn't much like, oh, like you can try this, but I was like, I need help. So I went to therapy for my depression, went on medication, and that sort of helped. And before that, I was in therapy for like my anxiety, and that didn't really help. It just like made it worse, I felt like. So I was like hesitant to try therapy again. But I went, and it's like super hard for me to like open up to people who I don't know, and even people I do know. So when she was like talking about my problems, like, well, why do you think you feel this way? I was just like, I don't know, it's just what I feel. So I feel like it was hard for the therapy to like actually like work. But yeah, my depression got like super bad. I was in a super bad rut for like 2 months. And then my whole life I've struggled with like self-image issues. So that whole time just made it 10 times worse. So I had a few close calls with an eating disorder. But luckily that's somewhat gone away. But yeah, sorry.
If you had one piece of advice for your younger self, what would that be?
It's okay not to be perfect. And it's okay to not always get straight A's and to do things wrong, because that's how you learn. If you're getting everything right all the time, you'll never like learn how to solve problems.
Like through your mental health journey, what was the best advice you received?
Probably something that my church friends told me was just like, go to God. Give all your anxieties, worries to God, and I did, and It wasn't perfect and I still struggled, but it definitely helped because I always knew that he was like always there in my corner, even when I felt like no one else was.
So what was like the biggest turning point?
Probably when I found out I was pregnant, which to most people I was terrified, but it made me realize, okay, if I can't get better mentally and physically for myself, I'm gonna do it for my child. So that's definitely, like, I don't want to cry.
It's okay to cry.
My daughter saved me more than I.
Come on, let's get her a good song.
You're so brave for coming up there and
I'm
sharing
sorry
this.
for crying.
Don't be sorry. It's an emotion. We're allowed to feel it.
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we exist.
You're doing great.
My daughter saved me probably more than she'll ever know. And I'll remind her, I'm like, you saved me, but probably won't get as in depth. But yeah, that was definitely the biggest turning point for me.
So what's the worst pain you've ever felt that wasn't
I've thought about this one a lot because there were a few, but I think the biggest one was when I was at my lowest in my depression. And I would force myself to get up every day, go to school, then go to work, and always putting the face on that I'm okay, everything's fine, it's just a rut, I'll get through it, everything's fine. And always like helping other people with their problems when on the inside I was done. Like I didn't want to do anything anymore. Like I was just over everything and like wanted to be done like here in the world, but I knew that I couldn't because I needed to go to school and needed to be here for my family and for my friends who were struggling. But it was just the worst pain because it was the worst pain even though I felt numb. Like I felt numb to everything, had no emotion other than sad, tired, like just exhausted all the time.
So if you could use this platform to express some wisdom to other people going through these things, what are some words you share?
It's okay to cry. It's okay to have feelings and not shut them off or bottle them up because bottling them up just makes them 10 times worse. And it's okay not to be okay and ask for help if you're struggling because growing up I would never ask for help because I didn't want to be weak and I didn't want people to worry because I'm the person who worries about everyone else and making sure everyone else is okay. So I didn't want them to feel that towards me. But it's okay to ask for help and it makes you strong because you're getting like the help you need to get better. Yeah.
Keep that, buddy.